Welcome, welcome. So this is going to be great. As you'll be able to tell, you are all muted, and we had some new experiences last week. So we're going to try a new situation that everyone will be unmuted unless you raise your hand. If there's a question you might have, if you raise your hand, we'll be able to unmute you at that point. So I want to thank everybody for coming on tonight. And this is about owning your own mind and body. And we're going to be talking about the 30-day body reset and how important this is right now. Also, I want to mention, if any of you haven't heard, that there isn't going to be an Easter bunny this year. So maybe some of you have heard that. The Easter bunny can't find any eggs. So, nor can the Easter bunny afford them. So anyways, I thought that was a fun thing to say, since I just heard that recently, and I thought that was kind of cute, but it's probably a little more real, I don't know. It's fabulous how people can get so creative. But tonight we're going to talk about your health is your wealth, and how important it is to be part of and set up a cleansing program that we have. And this is rather, you could say, post-holiday, but for people who feel like maybe during the holidays they had more carbs than usual, more sugar, more of this, more of that. But even outside of the holiday, this is a really good time to restart some of our good cells and get the toxins out of the cells. But how do they accumulate, and why do we want to do that? And why do most people, probably choose not to do that? And I want to say that, I don't know, I was writing down some excuses, that I've heard through the years. It takes energy, it takes effort, it takes discipline, or I'm okay to just stay the way I am. I'm okay to be on all the medications that I am, not wanting to make the change. I wrote down, people can feel they're too young. They've got their whole life ahead of them, and believe they're resistant to, anything right now that they're doing to themselves could really, affect them that much, but maybe they could do it later on in life. Or people will say, I'm too old for this. It's in a situation years ago, we were just talking about this in our shipping room. My mother, who died of cancer, and years ago, before she had the cancer, the doctors told her to stop taking the herbs and stop taking the colon cleanser. And she really, really had regretted that. So maybe the physician, maybe a health practitioner is telling you, oh, these could be dangerous for you, and not to do it. Or maybe you're saying, I can't afford it. Going through all the list of that, but just the fact you're on this call, you're interested, and you're interested in wanting to make some of the changes ongoing. So I want you to imagine your body is like a big bucket, okay? Just one big bucket. And the toxins can drip down into this bucket, drip, 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 a little at a time, a little each day. And maybe it takes 1 or 2 decades before you realize, holy cow, this is really accumulating. Actually, the toxins are starting to overflow so much that I'm starting to get into a state of inflammation. I'm starting to have more symptoms of blood sugar imbalances, or I'm having symptoms of autoimmune deficiencies. Maybe I'm having more thyroid imbalances, as that is going on with a whole lot of people right now. Thyroid deficiency, iron deficiency, mineral deficiency. So all of this it really has to go somewhere. It does accumulate in our cells and in our body. I've mentioned this before, and I love these analogies. Would you go a month? Can you imagine going a month without brushing your teeth? No? Or I don't know, maybe some people do that. I had a relative that never brushed his teeth, okay? And every time he'd come to visit, I would just stare at his teeth, even as a child, like, wow, I think I could tell what he ate for breakfast, but brushing your teeth, but we're talking about brushing our insides, brushing ourselves, what needs to scrub out of the organs. Another question, would you go a month or two? I'm not sure what most people do, but I do hear some interesting things, without washing your clothes. Okay, it starts to smell, and the dirt accumulates just even by being in the air, being outside. I mean, you could tell a difference of, or maybe it's in your profession, what you're exposed to, but washing your clothes. And we're talking about internal washing our blood, washing our organs. And then one last analogy that I like to use too, for those who are a little more mechanical, is it's like an oil change. But what we're talking about in the next 30 days is beyond a daily oil change that we do with the PuraCleanse, but it's an oil change. We have to make these changes internally on such a physical level right now, with how much we're exposed to toxins. We are being exposed to chemicals and toxins like human beings have never been in history. We're being exposed to toxins that we're not used to detoxifying from. Levels of heavy metals, levels of all that is coming through, even in the chemtrails, the water, the food, you name it, it is everywhere. So some of the ways we used to detoxify, I used to teach about for years, is I'm having to really step this up. Even within my own protocol, how important it is to remove these toxins. If you are trying to get well, you're trying to have more energy, you're trying to feel better, you're wanting to sleep better, don't have any joints that hurt, it just goes on, no headaches, hormone balance, you're going to have to detoxify. It's in nature, it's everywhere. You talk about what's happening in nature right now, just even in the US, there's a lot that is going on. To handle the level of attention and stress of so much changing, and the worries and the concerns that people have, what about, how am I going to keep affording my food? What kind of quality water am I going to have? Am I going to have water? Okay, we're here to talk about this. We're here. I don't want to be in denial of this. I want to stay in preparation and preventiveness. And that's why talking about the 30-day reset and it originally was a detox, 30-day detox, but we're calling it a body reset. Because you may need to do it more than once or twice a year as we used to. It's needing to be done a lot more frequently. And there are a variety of things that influence how well and how easily our body is going to release toxins. And as we go through this protocol, that we have a guide, page by page. There is an awful lot in this guide to help you, give you some good direction, help you to chart down what you are taking, what you are doing, that kind of thing. And the way we have this set up today, so I'm not sure. I think I could change the view so I could see. I was going to have Diane share. She is getting, let's see. Yep, there's Diane. Hello. She's getting such great results with the 30-day program, reset program. Now the fun part will be how we unmute you. Can you unmute her, Kimberly?
Can you hear me?
Yes, very good.
That was easy.
Okay, thank you for joining us too, Diane.
Of course.
Okay, so you helped us to see what we needed to be on top of with our guide, because you ordered the program and then we didn't get you the guide, but now we're getting this worked out.
No, it was awesome. I got the guide from you the following day, and then I think you sent me the update, a few days later. So it's a great guide. It's really good. It's got recipes. It's got, the one thing that I haven't done before on your detoxes is the bath, the detox bath.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been really great too. But I just started last Tuesday, so I've just been at it this is the 8th day.
Okay. And are you feeling some results? What can you tell?
Well, I never weigh myself, but I take measurements. So I took measurements before this class, and in just a week, I've lost almost just under 2 inches around my belly, my stomach. And it's just, it's, it's just amazing how quickly it starts to work, and it really is. Because I normally take your Pure Cleanse, the powder, but adding in the other pieces and keeping track of those has just been really great. And it's not like, your recipes are great, but it's not like you're starving yourself to death, I don't feel hunger pangs like I used to before I wasn't detoxing, because I feel like my blood sugar is stabilizing, and, I'm just drinking a lot of water. I feel a little more thirsty, which doesn't surprise me because I think I'm, eliminating a lot of stuff, but I'm sleeping better already. It's amazing how fast it works,
And you're using the Pure Cleanse versus the fiber caps, or?
Right. I'm doing the Pure Cleanse powder with the with that detox bundle that you have, or the healthy gut bundle. So it's the Puricite and the probiotic, and then the cleanse caps just at night. And it always surprises me, like the Puricite, I probably do once every year and a half, a short period of time with that. And it's just amazing what happens with the Purus, with the Puricite.
That's great.
Yeah.
We'll go, for those of you who are not as familiar with this, we'll go through some of those details as well. Great. Thank you. Thank you. All right, let's see. I would like to start going through then our guide for all of you some of you haven't seen it. And when you get this month, when you get the 30-day body reset program, any of the cleansing products on our site, for the next week or less, you'll get 25% off, and then you get free shipping. I really recommend anybody to store up on some things right now. I'm just going to throw that out as a really wise advice, that what you may want to have in your health cupboard for a little while. Okay, so we're going to go through the guide now. Let's go ahead into page 2, and we'll skip that one. You can read that when you have the guide. So when you get your guide, and Diane, we're going to have to give you even another update because we have reorganized some things here on our end. You'll see the table of contents. There's just a whole list, a little variety to give you some help along the way on your protocol. And this will explain, you could do it 7 to 10 days. You can go 14 days to 30. I recommend 30. I wouldn't even go 14 at this point. So you'll be able to, there's just a little basic information about, explaining the guide here. And then there are some recommendations as you're doing the guide. This is really good to take some time and go through that. But everybody on the call, I would recommend that you do the program, and we will send you the guide. The guide is free. All right. Now, I want to address the commonly asked questions. This is really good for people. Why detox? All right. This is just so important. And I want to say, because here's the question. It's safe for everybody. This is really gentle, really safe. And if you're taking meds and you're taking the herbs, you want to do it 30 minutes to an hour before, 30 minutes to an hour after. So detoxifying repairs the worn out tissues of our body. We are capable of making new bodies. Okay, we really are, even right now. But you can't do it if the level of toxicity is high in your body. And part of releasing the toxins in your body also is that you're going to be able to create a more alkaline bloodstream. When your bloodstream is completely balanced and it's alkaline, any disease cannot take hold in your body. It just can't. Okay, this is chemistry, and this is the laws of nature of how this works. So you want to do it as prevention, but you want to do it to get out so many of the chemicals that we have accumulated in our body. Yes, through our life. Yes, especially these last few years, where there'll be any side effects. Okay, and there are positive side effects. When there's detoxification, you might get, for people who are, some people are more toxic than other people. You might get headaches, you might get night sweats, you might break out in a rash because sometimes the toxins will come out through the skin. Generally, we should be eliminating 2 pounds of toxins a day from our colon, from our kidneys, from our lungs, and from our skin. And most of us are not perspiring enough. And this is something that you may want to do in your program as we go through this a little bit more, is be able to, if you're at a place where all you could do is soak in the tub and sweat, then that's good. If you could get to a sauna, if you can get to a steam room, that's great. Maybe you're going to be riding your bike, you're going to be taking brisk walks, that's a good idea too. So the side effects, this is so interesting because people think, oh my gosh, I start doing this, I'm not going to be able to go to work, or I better stay home all morning and stay close to a bathroom. It's not going to be like that. You should be able to still really work and do well even through detoxifying. And then you might require, though, more rest. So plan your schedule. Maybe you'll want to have spaces of a little more rest and time to do a little more journaling. Maybe you're going to get some good insights, coming through. So how does it work? This is not a new way of healing. Detoxification is an ancient method that cleans the blood and removes toxins from every cell of the body. This is so old. It's a way to naturally heal and rejuvenate the body. You may be rejuvenating nerves that were severed. This happened to me, and they grew back in my body. There are people that have had organs removed. In the rejuvenation process, they start growing back new organs. Not to limit the power of what can happen when you bring something into its natural alignment. And the blood is only as clean as the bowels. You think of that. If the liver is toxic, if there are toxins in the blood, they're in the bowels. I mean, it's in the bloodstream. It's all through your body. And how important it is to clean the blood. Life is in the blood. So we clean the bowels. We want to get rid of the parasites and get rid of the toxins. All disease are cured from within. We can reverse this. I was sharing with earlier today a lady. She shared with me. This was a couple days ago. She has gone completely gluten-free, no dairy at all, completely gluten-free, and she's not eating any sugar. She said. And she had severe arthritis before starting this. And she said, it's gone. It's totally gone. It was significant change in just 30 days. And she said, now it's closer to 90 days. She said she just feels so much better of making those changes. One of the challenges that people have is they want this done overnight. It did not come overnight. It's not going to go away overnight, but it will hugely change if you could start taking some steps forward, or doing a 10%, or making the plan tonight. Just look over this and make the plan. And this is what we're going to do. This is the changes I'm going to make. That is some of the best insurance policies, a policy that you can invest in and get a return that is so phenomenal. All right, a few more questions. Does detoxifying affect my bowel movements? And it can. You're going to definitely consume more fiber because you'll be having the Pura cleanse, and there's some fiber also in the Pura site too. And I would say don't expect things to be totally regular or consistent right now, because the body's going to go through its purging times. And it might feel like when real toxins come out of the body, the deeper toxic toxins, okay, it can burn coming through your elimination in your rectum. And when that happens, and that may happen off and on, but when that does happen, clap your hands, because those are poisons literally coming out of you. Those are the poisons that really cause the most havoc in the system, to your immune system. Where do the toxins and parasites come from? I bet most of you could even answer this because we've gone through this in classes a number of times. And but it's common. It comes through pets. It comes through water. It can come through walking on the beach, swimming in the ocean, drinking out of a garden hose. And here we have pesticide, pollutants, smoke, cleaning products, chemicals. We're inundated. We are inundated with toxins. We mentioned this before, the candles, the paraffin. The list just goes on and on with that. So to become more mindful of creating less chemicals in your environment, and you'll see some of this in the guide because we're going to give you some suggestions as well. How soon will I notice results? Some people notice results sooner than others. The more consistent you are, the more results you will get. Okay, and the sooner you will get results. Now, also, it depends on the level of toxicity in your body. If there is a high level of toxins, that can make a difference of how long it's going to take for you to detoxify. The old school of thought is it used to take 1 month to every year the body's been in that condition to reverse it. I don't think that's true anymore. I don't think it's true. I think because of how things have sped up so much with us, that I believe the detoxification happens even faster now. I believe it happens even sooner, and you'll get those results even sooner. Another piece of the guide has to do with goal setting. This is really important to go through and answer these questions. We have a few pages on goal setting. Why are you starting this body? Let's see, the first one, why are you starting the body reset detoxification? Okay, get clear on your intentions. Get clear on what you're wanting. Why does this mean? What does this mean for your health? Again, you want to just get the details down. How do you feel today? How do you want to feel in 7 days? How are you feeling today? Okay, now here's where we go through the different days up to the last 14 days. And then we want to go back through, okay, now let's check in. How are you feeling at this day? Because people will say, how do I know? How will I know what the difference is? Or is this really working? You know, maybe because some people think unless you have the blood test absolutely showing this, or you have an x-ray, and there's a place for all that. I'm not putting that down. There's a place for it. But how do you know it's really working? Is your energy improving? Do you feel a little more flexible? Is it easier to get up and down? Do you have less headaches? Do you feel less bloated? Maybe you're thinking a lot clearer. Maybe you see some changes in your skin. Probably a very, very vivid experience I saw with a lady. This was several years ago, working with her in Pennsylvania, and completely changed her diet and detoxified. But after she went through this, she went back. All the skin tags she had fell off. Everything fell off. Her whole body went into amazing rejuvenation. But she didn't stick with it and went right back to the junk food, the processed food. She went back to, you know, all the other things. But that's a good point, though. Once you go through a 30-day plan like this, you may want to then after that do what's called a maintenance process for the next 3 months. So that's something that would be really good for me to be on top of and work with to be able to share with you. So on page 10 and page 11 that we have here in our detox, you're able to, these are your sheets that you'll be able to mark off the supplements that you're taking. If you need accountability, this is good. You'll be able to see this chart, maybe put it on your refrigerator, and it will have, it goes all the way up to for 30 days. So page, yeah. So now you got a program going, and these are the products that you're going to be taking. This is really, really cool. Just 4 products here. Okay, that's not complicating at all. Let's go back to here. I am there's Matt. We're gonna have Matt share some info on the Pure Cleanse, because I want to address these products. These are friends of yours. Maybe you haven't met them yet, but I want to introduce you to Mr. Pure Cleanse or Mrs. Pure Cleanse. Do it, whatever you want to call it. Whatever. This is powerful stuff. When you are using the herbs to heal the body, life force, healing the body, life brings forth more life, nature healing nature. You will come more alive. Okay, you will feel the regeneration take place in every cell and every organ of your body. You'll be walking up and down the stairs with a bounce, and a number of people are having a hard time moving. This is the time to really, really detoxify and take care of yourself. Honestly, you think things are going to get easier from here? They're not. And this isn't being negative. This realistically, I truly, truly believe we're entering in purposefully, and it's been planned, but we're entering into some really challenging times for our benefit in many ways. Because I have the biggest smile in my heart of what we're going to experience coming through this is just tremendous, tremendous. But prior to that, our world is going to be rocked, and we are going to be prepared because of strengthening our health right now and not ignoring the impact and the importance of this. I have no doubt about this. With all my knowing from all my lifetimes, the whole universe, all the universes, I am 100% in support and believing what we're about, what we have been, but what we're about to experience is going to be on such a level with toxins, but we're going to be prepared to help move these out of our system. We're on this, and you're on this Zoom call tonight because you will be a leader in helping many others as well with this, whether it's mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. We all have so many gifts, everyone on this call, we all have so many gifts, and we have a phenomenal community here and great support, even here at Miracles of Health, to help you get through whatever this is going to be. And granted, we'll keep making whatever changes we need to make on this end to better help and support you. So Matt has worked with the formulation of Pure Cleanse even when he was in high school, even when he was in college. And so he is, he's going to share some of the importance of it, but give you a little more background that this is such an incredible high fiber drink with herbs. And he gets to put his hands in this, of course, with gloves and a hat and a coat, good safety practices here. But when you get your Pure Cleanse now, it's under what Matt has been really refining and doing with it. Okay.
Thank you. Hello, family. Great to be with everybody. So I've been close to Pure Cleanse for a little over 25, almost 30 years. And I can tell you that the formula hasn't changed, but my taste buds have. And I'll speak to that in a moment. But one of the things that I heard you and Diane bring up, and Diane, I think it's awesome that you're doing it. What a great time to do it. It's real interesting that we choose this time of the year to do it, to set our intentions, to lose weight or feel better, increase our energy. But it happens to also coincide at the same time that we're having all of these rituals that center around eating food, and a lot of it. So it's kind of like we've got it backwards. We're going into the new year, we're clearing out our head and our body and our guts, and it just runs into the celebration of all this stuff. So this is a perfect time, I think, to really be focused on the cleanse. So I had to get a visual on things. We've got 35 feet of large and small intestine in us, and I had to take out a tape measure to just see what 35 feet looks like, and it kind of gave me an idea for what I'm working with here. And when we've been talking about brushing brushing that out, or brushing our teeth, or brushing the oil change, what is the oil change? Because it's not a perfect metaphor in that, like, the oil is I guess in this, what we're considering our bowels. We eat like 3 times a day. We should be going to the bathroom at least once. And so what Pure Cleanse has done for me is it's really allowed me to really get in touch with the physical, my body, what I'm eating, how it responds and reacts. I wasn't aware of any of that when I had that 35 feet of large and small intestine just packed with toxins and parasites. I wasn't sure. I just was jammed up. And so what I've been able to do with this is just really take it on the daily. I've taken it twice a day sometimes. I've used it as a meal replacement, because what I'm trying to do is I want to feel more of that natural life force, this biosuit that I have. I know that it's my responsibility to what passes my mouth and what I put over on my tongue into my body. I got to be responsible for that. And I got to take that back, and I got to figure out how this thing works and how I work with it. And so some of the stuff that I was just writing down is as you were talking, is just, I'm realistic about life. I've got 2 kids. They both play soccer. We're out and about on the weekends. And it's not always convenient to have a healthy packed lunch with you. And so sometimes you have to kind of do what life throws you, and you got to eat here or eat there, or go with the flow. And I'm all right with that. I don't want to be the one that has the special lunchbox. I can eat wherever, because I know that night or in the next morning, I'll be able to take the Pure Cleanse to help move that out. And then you're like, well, what is that? And you're like, the main ingredient is the activator is that psyllium husk. It's indigestible to the body. It naturally just wants to start cleaning the intestinal walls, and allowing your body to absorb whatever nutrients is in the food that you're eating, and then get rid of the stuff it doesn't need to hang around. The extra fat cells, the extra sugar doesn't need to be in the gut, so it allows the body to make more fat. I don't know. I hope that helps a little bit about, like, as far as how I use it and how I see it. I just, like, it gives me back energy, because all the food that I would normally eat and digest, I don't have to exert as much energy to let that come through, because the product is just doing that. And so the psyllium husk will help clean out those walls, and all the other ingredients that you put into that formula are helping give my body what it needs. Because like, if there's as many neurons in our gut as there are in our brain, we really need to think about this as a brain, our gut as a brain. And I'm all about this brainwash, and I'm all about increasing the energy, and just
I
one
like
of the
that.
things we were talking about, and I'll stop after
Mhm.
that, is I find the you know, those among us that are powerful and wealthy, they end up trying to use all of that power and wealth in the end of their life to try to get back their health. And if we can do this on the regular, on the daily, and make this part of our practice, I think we can continue to live a very happy life. And it's just been incredible for me.
That I'm glad you shared that, Matt. You said a couple things that I mean, you said a lot of things that are really good, but it gives you energy. It doesn't take energy. And there are a lot of foods, there are a lot of beverages that take energy from you. It might give you false energy initially, okay, thinking, oh, okay, this cup of coffee is going to get me going, okay.
Right.
But actually hibiscus tea, or a tea would give you a lot more energy. And I had this discussion with the acupuncturist the other night, and the same thing about what takes and what gives, energy. So I'm so glad you shared that. And and I know people who all their life, they have lived very well, which is good. That's fine, but when it gets down to it, all the money in the world can't buy your health back. Okay, when you're at that point. So this is wisdom, to practice and do this now. So I want to
Can
mention, and thank
I
you. Go ahead, Matt.
apologize.
Go
May I
ahead.
say one more thing? It's
Sure.
not just the psyllium husk. I'm thinking I've at different times I've done things like use Metamucil, and it's the other herbs that you've added to this formula that really give me that energy. Because I've tried it, and I like the oil change, but I need that extra stuff that you've blended in with this formula to give my body the resources that it needs to be alkaline, to be in balance. And for that, I'm grateful. It's been an incredible opportunity to work with it, be next to it, make it. And then just what I was saying about the taste buds, the last thing is I know that some of over time, it used to be strong tasting to me. And now I crave it. And what's strong tasting is everything else. I can taste how toxic certain foods are. You know what I mean? It's just it's reformulated my body, and it's allowed me to just get way more in touch with the physical, which has allowed me to make that bridge into the metaphysical. And that's what I'm real interested in, is how do you get these downloads from your gut, or how, if your body's jammed up with parasites and toxins and everything right now. I don't know, it just is synchronistic that seems like 2023 is the year for us all to take back that just take it back, take our lives back, and stop leaving it to chance, and say, I am responsible, and what I eat, I am what I eat. And then I need to be more scientific about all of this. How many times am I using the bathroom? Like, and that 30-day guide is just a real clean tool to help keep us accountable, so we can start being a little bit more scientific with our own bodies. And with that, I digress. And again, thank you.
Yeah, that's great, Matt. Thanks. Um, okay, great. I love it. Going on, you have cleanse caps as part of this. You might take one or two before bed. Why this is so important? Because when you start releasing toxins, they could be as heavy as even little pieces of cement, okay? Or there could be gas pockets that are just as toxic, and you want to move this out through your system. You don't want any constipation, okay, during this time. You want the toxins coming out. The purest site, you could take 3 of those twice a day. I'm doing three times a day. So I mean, you could do whatever you want, but that is what will create a die-off that will start to address the parasites that are just amazing, unbelievable, the high levels of parasites in people's bodies right now. We have consumed a lot in ways you probably don't want to know right now, but we might share that one day. The probiotic is really important to take because you want to put the friendly bacteria back into your system because we're getting rid of a lot of the unfriendly bacteria. The next little bit, I'm just going to go through a little quicker. These are just some additional products, supporting products that we have. So I'm not really going to go into those right now. Let's go to food and water. This is in the guide. So this is going to give you a little tidbit and a few suggestions, what to avoid. Next, we have healthy choices, some suggestions about that, and with fruits and vegetables as well. And let's say a detox bath. I love this. Okay. There'll be some tidbits on what you could do because the toxins will come out through the skin. And it might be a good idea for me to even mention onto this with your skin brushing. Wow, you know, brush your skin, brush everything towards the heart. There is so much dead skin on our bodies. And if you could get the dead skin off while you're detoxifying, that would be wonderful. And then the toxins, and a lot of times the parasites will come out right through the skin in the bath water. And if you see little sparklies on the water, that's what it is. So you want to draw that out. So let's go to healing crisis. And I put this down. I didn't go into this too much. You could do a little more research if you want. This is just so important that when you release toxins, they're going to come out. Toxins are going to be released out of the organs, out of the system, through the lymphatic system, through your bloodstream. You want them to come out. And a lot of people will stop if they get a little stomach pain, because sometimes toxins will pull away from the lining of the colon and it'll feel like a sharp pain. So then they'll quit and they'll say, oh, this hurts too much. You want that removed. You want these toxins removed out of your body. It will stir things up. Years ago, when I was doing a lot more cleansing with a lot of groups of people and taking them through liver cleanse, and they would go through cleansing so intensely, you know, they thought they had a disease, and they would go to the doctor and he would say, oh, wow, your blood levels and the red and white blood count and this and this and this. And I said, did you tell them you were detoxifying and what was going on? And so they would get discouraged. But then the people who stuck with it, oh my gosh, afterwards they would say, I can't believe how much better I feel. Okay, you're creating new cell growth and you're rejuvenating and refreshing those organs. Take care of them. It's worth it. So I don't know why this term tends to spook people, but I would congratulate you, or you call me on the phone if you're going through a healing crisis. I will support you. I will clap for you. I'll be so happy for you because we're making progress. We know we're going to be making a lot of progress at that point. It will improve your sleep, but you want to stay well hydrated for sure in this process. You really do. Okay, so we have some tidbits in this on detoxifying your home. I'm not going to go into this much. I just want to kind of go through this a little bit quicker so you could know living room and bedroom. There's some great ideas. And what you might want to be mindful of in your home environment and what could be accumulating as toxins there. These are some really great plants Kimberly has found that help even detoxify the air in your home. That's in your guide. Also, there are some tips for better sleep. There are some friendly recipes, and we've been accumulating actually even some more recipes that we might want to add to it as well. But that's a great one. The one with the green drink is really good too. And then there's some tips on meditation as well, and some things that you might want to think about, before you go to bed. So this is a good little guide if you want, especially being on the call. I think most of you have products that are you're already taken for detoxifying. And I would say let's change this up. If you don't have one of these guides and you would like to get one, please email me, text me, let me know. And I know Diane will give you an up-to-date one because things this afternoon got changed a little bit again with that. But I want to open it up right now. And I think Kimberly, I think we're okay to unmute everybody right now. If you have any questions or any comments.
A couple of things, Judy. One, what would be, or would it be safe to do this and the liver cleanse concurrently? Or is that a little too rough on the body? Because what I really want to say is I've done supplements for 35 years. And when I first started working with you, I did start it and I thought, oh, here we go again. Another cleanse. I've done a million of these, right? And to me, it's so gentle. So people are afraid. They hear that word cleanse and they get afraid. And for me, some of the things that I have done to this sweet body of mine over the years in the name of health, I love it because the products are effective, but they're gentle, I feel, and they're very supportive, especially when you look at a whole protocol, which, you've obviously put together for me. But so that's why I'm asking the question about a liver cleanse on top of that. Would that be too much intensity on a body, especially in the vibrational times we're living in?
Well, I think you're asking a good question. I would think if somebody is on the level of a real super achiever, okay, they might risk that, it sounds like something I might try, but I wouldn't recommend. I would keep them separate. That's my opinion, because in the liver cleanse, you're set up, the body is geared up and the focus is on eliminating gallstones and liver stones. Okay, that is the focus. And that type of cleanse, liver cleanse that we do and that you've done here a few times, that's the focus primarily. So this is more in the gut. Actually, this would be great to do in between the liver cleanses. You could do the liver cleanses every 21 days as long as you're eliminating stones. When you stop eliminating stones, you're done. Okay, with that. But it could be something to do, maybe rotate in between. And that's, after talking about this today, this is where I'm going to come up with and work on a maintenance. What do you do in between? That's what I'd like to do. But thank you, Margaret. That's a great question.
Yeah, that was my sense, like it was a little much, but I do like to achieve. So thank you, Judy.
Boy, that would be one of those super duper challenges, like,
okay. I'll wait.
I'll wait. And any other questions, any other thoughts anybody wants to share? Yes, Myra. Hello.
Judy, I have a question. So, okay, so my sister Diane, she had her gallbladder removed years ago,
Mhm.
and she has like scar tissue. So when she goes on cleanses, it's like she doesn't eliminate a lot. So what do you suggest?
Uh-huh.
And like when she
Um,
takes the Pura cleanse?
Absolutely. So either has she done it properly? Has she gone through this thoroughly? Even just the guide we're talking about and making those food choices? That's
Oh,
okay. I would say that this should be able to work well with her. And scar tissue is something that can break down. Okay,
oh, really? Okay.
when the body goes into a healing mode, and the more you get rid of toxins. I learned this years ago from my very first herb teacher, because I was so full of scar tissue. I had so much with all the back surgeries I've had. I had a lot of scar tissue. It just built up even on my back. It was so much. And this is kind of a side note, but taking vitamin E, you start with 400 milligrams, you go to 800 milligrams every 7 days, and then you get up to 1200 milligrams. And then you stay on that until you could tell the scar tissue has decreased. Mine
Okay.
was so visible. Mine was so visible. It took 6 months for a quarter of an inch of scar tissue that was on my spine. It totally flattened out in 6 months. But
Wow, and
vitamin
then
E, but I detoxified that whole time. I didn't have sugar. Okay, I did food combining. I didn't have quite the organization that what we're offering today, but it was actually a lot harder at that point. I was also doing home colonics and yeah.
okay. So that would help even with like cesareans too, like the scar tissue for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And then there's some, I don't know, maybe Diane or Linda, I'm not sure if you're more familiar with this or not, but when I lived in California, I went to a person who also did holistic healing, because anytime there's a scar on the body, there's a lot of energy that has built up to that experience that is
Okay.
still stuck.
Okay.
Okay, and there's a way to clear that. I would love to talk about that on one of these visits too, these classes. But so you treat the scar, you could break down the scar tissue internally. You have to keep getting rid of the toxins, okay? That's a must. So those cells rejuvenate. But then if you could do, for those who are dealing with the scar tissue, vitamin E is phenomenal. Selenium is phenomenal with that.
Okay. Thank you so much, Judy.
Yeah, it's great. And then you can also buy the E oil and just rub that on where the scarring is. And then maybe that would be a really good Zoom meeting sometime, is that we'll talk about clearing the energy of any scars that you have. We could do it on a call and it works.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, Jackie.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, I'm so happy to be back.
Yeah,
I
thank
was having
you.
some issues. I've been trying to join the meeting, and I'm so grateful that you kept me in the loop, but Apple have finally, after 3 years, confirmed that I have a faulty keyboard that should be recalled. So that's what was causing me all my issues. I'm delighted to say that I've actually doubled my weight since we first used to talk. I was 35 kg and I'm now 80 kg. But and there might be a reason why I don't have a large intestine, but the part that I still have, the lower colon, is still inflamed since then. And I'm getting conflicting advice from GPs, and my natural medical doctor has now traveled to the bottom of the North Island, so out of visits really. So can you, I've been told that if I take things by mouth, it will just exit, you know, before it reaches the lower part. And I'm really, really keen, rather than anxious, but keen that I can heal this lower inflammation. And I don't know how to do it. And I was hoping that you could give me some advice, really.
Because I know you're in Europe, right?
Oh, no, I'm in New Zealand.
You're in New Zealand. Okay.
Yeah,
And
I kind of haven't changed my profile. I've been under the radar.
so you, yeah, and I know this is something we probably should talk off Zoom, okay?
Okay.
But having to, you know, address this and still being able to test and look, is it parasitic, you know, the layer of toxins that are still down in the intestines. There's ways that I think what we'll do is talk separately so I could guide you to what you might need to get in your area that can help. How does that sound? Okay,
That
so
sounds great.
let's plan on that within the next week, Jackie.
Oh, that's lovely. And sorry for having, I just took the courage to ask.
Good. No, I'm glad you did. This
Thank
is
you.
great.
Thank you.
Anybody else have anything? I know we've gone quite a bit. And any other comments? And I thank you so much for joining tonight. It's great to see everyone. Hope this was super helpful for you. And then I look forward to talking with everyone and sharing next week. And we're just going to keep this going. Ginny's hoping she'll be back on next week. Most likely she will, but I'll keep you posted. We have plenty we could talk about, right? And we can share and learn. And I like, you know, what was said. This is our community. This is a great community. And anything you want to contribute, anything you want to share, it helps everybody else too. And thank you all for joining, and see you soon.